You said during episode 3 that so far it was better than the book. Do you think that's carried through?
Yeah, I think overall that is the case. Obviously, there's always going to be a charm to reading the book. Reading is a different type of pleasure to watching. But I do think when I think about Duncan Egg, it'll probably be this season that even now, if season 2 and 3 and it all goes off rails, we have a probably as good as you can get adaptation of the Hedge Knight, the first story.
So pretty much the best Game of Thrones adaptation since...
Season 1, technically.
Oh.
So season 1's a very good adaptation of the first book.
And this is the best since?
In terms of pure adaptation, if you're rating it there, yes. Along with specifically the series of season 1 of House of the Dragon.
Yep. Well, that's the thing. This casting especially. So when I do read the book, this is who I'm going to picture. Everyone in this is so perfect for just everything they do and say. Everyone from Maester, Aerion, and obviously Duncan Egg. Just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, looking at it, what this episode is very much a wind down. It's, Sherlock and Watson sitting by the fire going, well, how did that all happen then?
It's an interesting choice for a finale.
Well, particularly since, as I just showed you, the quickness of him dying. There's the quick moment at the, it's all because it's prose, so paragraphs can be days. So, yeah, it's just very quick, we have the Valar bit, we have the Maekar conversation that happens at the end of this. There's additional conversations. And then we just have the ending. It's very quickly out because it was a novella that had to fit so many words for a collection.
And also just the way you structure a story, once it's peaked. You don't always want to do a season 5 of Stranger Things where you want to do an hour and a half wind down for these characters where everyone gets a happy ending.
Yeah. You as the viewer can fundamentally decide what canon is. So I now decide that this version, these characters, is, for me, the canon version.
Yeah.
I think every viewer and reader is allowed to do that, but I imagine someone's going to be annoyed that I even put forward such a theory.
I've seen a lot of happiness, unless you're a Breaking Bad fan. But we'll go into that later, maybe.
They brought it onto themselves, those guys.
We'll go into that later. So this episode is basically, because it is an expansion of 1 or 2 conversations, it's 5 or 6 conversations.
And a lot of it because of the expanded nature that they gave it. So we open on Lionel Baratheon, who in the book only rocks up for the Trial of 7, has no real connection to Dunk, and then wanders off again.
I'd say he's my favorite addition.
Yeah.
Everything he's done in the show, perfection for me.
To me, I think the best thing that this show could be is that George Martin has often said, in the ideal world, I would love to have just gardened and done the whole story and then just went over it all and made sure everything linked in. So when he wrote that original novella back in 97, 98, the Blackfyres did not exist. He only had written A Game of Thrones and was on book 2. So this is the best comment I can give it, is if George got to go back with what he knows now, with all the lessons learned, and got to put it in.
Yeah, this is his second draft. He's actually got to do it.
So he got to bring in the Blackfyre stuff and got to set that up quite nicely here. Aerion is a way more interesting character. He's not just a prick. He's there's a sense that he's performing for his father and all that stuff. There's a bit more of he's still an arsehole, and I saw someone say he maybe is off the fraud watch.
He proves himself. There's a specific moment with a couple of backhand swings in the last fight where he swings around, because I rewatched that scene today. I'm that's impeccable. That's so good. I am surprised he didn't just murder the horse. That's his go-to.
The fact that he went straight for, we should have brought this up last episode, he went straight for Dunk. So it wasn't that he was hiding behind. The book suggests that he was maybe hiding behind others with the Trial of 7, like a kind of Malfoy type shit. But the fact that he went straight to him actually is more people saying it's like a Maegor fanboy thing. He wants to do it because it's cool to do a Trial by 7.
And he wants to be immortalized for that because he's the third of a fourth. Doesn't matter. He's hey, this is kind of cool.
He just called his future kid Maegor, so it just makes sense.
Yes, I heard that. That's funny. But enough about last episode. Let's this episode. So I did love everything in this episode. All the conversations have at least one moment that I'm oh, that's incredibly well written.
Yeah.
But what did you think of the, let's go with anachronistic music?
Oh, the opening.
Well, the opening and the outro. The outro is like a swingy blues thing.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's it fit the vibe, so you kind of just accept it.
It didn't take me out of it completely. I think the credit song I didn't love.
It's not as bad as Wheel of Time or something.
Yes,
dance
we're not
music.
going completely off the rails. But interesting choice. And I guess they do want to reset you from last episode because we did end on something insane. I do kind of wish maybe we dwelled on the Baelor of it all, but I guess everyone else has their opinions on that. So
Yeah, but we have the opening chat with Lionel and the coolest looking Maester I've ever seen. The man looked like a dark sorcerer.
he looks cool, but he's not good at his job.
Yeah, I loved it. The whole like they're having a talk, and then he's in the background, like very like, oh, it's festering. He's kind of like, fuck off.
The line is an itchy asshole would be too much for you.
It's always the joke like you have Viserys in season 1 because I'm rewatching House of the Dragon, saying he's got the best Maester. He's got the King's Landing Maester. A Maester can never give an opinion without like a, I might be wrong. Like they can never confirm anything. There's always some interesting stuff with the Maesters that probably George has got lost in, but it would make sense that when Maesters graduate, you're probably going to send the best ones to like Winterfell
For sure,
or Lionel, and so what does Lord? I'm already forget the Lord of Ashford. Oh, we'll just send him fucking Davy.
Yeah, I assume it would be some kind of like funding. Like you get your funding from King's Landing, so you send them the best, and then whoever gives you like the least money, you're like, all right, you get something.
And interesting with Maesters is that some of them have come from great houses, but they give up their names. So there's in the books there's this idea that there's a Maester Conspiracy, but if George has time to go into it, like they killed the dragons, like it's the big theory that because dragons were getting smaller, and maybe they helped orchestrate or push the then.
It's the Bene Gesserit. Because everything is Dune.
It's all Dune. But
that conversation is great because they get the thing that you said that the fans have been saying for years and years, which is Baelor ain't shit.
Yeah.
Like that whole sect of the audience. And it's a fair point.
They do a good seeding of, because in the eventual third Blackfyre rebellion, we've just had the first one, the second one barely counts, but the third one, which seems to be where a lot of cool stuff happens that we don't know about, includes the Lionel and Dunk trial by combat.
Yes, with the I'll hate you like a brother. It's good that they know each other now because that'll be way more meaningful.
Way more meaningful. And then because they've seeded in that no one's really keen on the Targaryens from the lowest to the highest. Like the fucking Apple Boy doesn't like them.
But Lionel hit it better because I guess because he's higher up, he's closer to them. He doesn't want to piss them off.
Not hypocritical, but the Baratheons are here because Oris Baratheon was the rumoured half-brother of Aegon, came over with Aegon. So they're like, they came over and took over from the original Storm Kings. So even though they are descended through the woman, he's descended of like an invader with the Targaryens. So they were essentially their distant cousins, if you will. I did like when he goes, oh, I fight you like a brother, because obviously the Baratheons in the main series do fight each other like brothers. And there's a fun reference to, have you ever been to Tarth? Because there's a almost confirmed theory that Brienne's probably a descendant of Dunk.
Yes.
That Dunk just, for some reason, was just hooking up with a few people back in the day.
Hey, maybe. Once he becomes popular. Because he can take no wife being a Kingsguard, correct?
If he becomes Kingsguard, who knows?
Well, okay. But doesn't mean that he can't
at
bang
some point
around.
in his travels, because there's in book 4, Brienne, who's travelling around the Seven Kingdoms with her small squire. She remarks on finding a shield in her home that is Dunk's shield.
It would be very fun to treat him like Attila the Hun, how like everyone's related to Dunk because he just banged everyone on his travels.
It's the joke, like every tall person is
it's just Duncan the Tall. That'd be great.
Because Hodor even is rumoured to be potentially.
No, he's definitely a Pennytree. I've seen the dick. But another great little thing they've alluded to is the whole he feels bad that he wasn't knighted. Basically, Lionel says that Baelor was a fraud because he tested the gods by basically fighting people that couldn't fight back. Not honorable. He says gods don't like a fraud. And then Dunk's like, why do they like me then? Because Duncan doesn't think he was knighted still. And we do get, not confirmed, but I thought for a bit there, they like baited us for a bit because we thought we saw the death of...
Yeah, so then we still have the little...
Yeah, so then he gets back up. So it's like, maybe he did say, actually, you know what? I have decided to knight you. So I would rather they leave it like that because I like that it gives this show some chatter. Yeah. Because realistically, there's not too much theory crafting or anything like that you can do with this show.
And it doesn't really matter if he was or wasn't knighted. It's more
the thing of it. Yeah.
It's just a nice character thing that the most honourable guy isn't actually a knight.
Yeah, but maybe.
That's the knight. Well, I think that's the beauty of it. Without that, it's still good, but it's It just works a little bit better.
Symbolically, it works really well.
For us, it's been like a month and a half, roughly. It's weird seeing the old tourney poles go down. You feel like you've kind of been in this world a bit, you know, when you're walking around, it's all kind of finishing up.
We go from there to old Baelor's funeral. Everyone is very sad.
Oh, the roast.
Oh, God, that cut was so good.
Yeah.
Sarah, the director, has pretty much done something like that every episode, like the snap cut of the finger.
The spit.
Yeah. And then this one, it's the caravan departs after the roast.
Caravan departs after the roast.
And then just snap, crackle, pop goes Baelor. And I'm like, oh, shit, that's very good.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, yeah, post-tourney roast. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And then,
I think she does nail the tone very well.
Yeah.
Which, even though I don't super agree with the music choice, but no, her tone with the comedy is done really well. Like even just the reverse shot of Dunk staring off into nothingness while the Maester and Lionel stare down at him. But that's like,
You're fine.
everyone's sad at Baelor's funeral. It's relatively a short, small affair. Like not everyone comes out. It's not like the whole town. It's not. I don't even know if Ashford was there. It was mainly just like the tight Targaryen family.
Yeah.
I don't know why by choice, or is it because people hate them?
What we get from Maekar, which is from the book, it's like whenever anything bad happens, oh, Baelor wouldn't let that happen. And the fact that this great would-be king died in fucking Ashford, and got burnt there.
Yeah, and it's like no one really came.
Title of your sex tape.
Because it wasn't in a nice green meadow. It was kind of like in a,
Yeah.
I don't know where it was technically, but it didn't look alive. It wasn't thriving, especially when we see scenes later on with the Pennytree and stuff like that. Like it's a beautiful location, Ashford Meadows. But no, he is just cremated in this relatively boring area.
Where Viserys' wife got the mountainside.
Yeah, we've had nice.
Yeah, it's weird.
funerals.
I guess they obviously it's for the sake of the narrative, because I guess you'd go, realistically, they'd want to go and take the body up to King's Landing and have a proper procession.
But I think it serves it really well, having it just be almost pathetic, I guess, or sad that this great king snuffed out.
Because they've rocked up for promotional purposes, like Ashford's overspent on his daughter's birthday. The princes have come, should just be a simple marketing. Hey, we're pretty cool. and now suddenly the main guy has now died.
This is where non-book people find out that Baelor was wearing his son's armor.
Yes.
The great line about how many fathers have died in their son's armor. I don't know. Did he die because of the armor? Did it get caved in because it didn't fit? I don't know how armor works that well. I guess not. It's still armor.
I think it's also just setting up that he wasn't wearing the best helmet for the job. And
Potentially, yeah. Wasn't a war helm, I guess. It was a tourney one.
yeah, we didn't really touch on it, but last week. But since we are at his funeral, Bertie did a wonderful job at it. He is obviously a great actor. He's appeared twice in The Crown. He was Jonathan Strange in Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell.
High praise, apparently.
It's hard to picture it, but I think you can pull off. He's playing Cornelius Fudge in the Harry Potter remake series.
Oh, in the full remake.
Yeah, he's the guy he's the Minister of Magic for most of it, who denies Voldemort ever being back.
I'm not going to love that because I'm going to view him as extremely competent.
Yes, and so now he's gonna
Cornelius
be
Fudge
the
is supposed to be the
opposite,
opposite.
But-
I'll be like, not my king.
And yeah, I think brilliant job, brought a lot to the character.
Yeah.
But it's typical of all adaptations of Game of Thrones that he's about 10 years older than what the character should have been.
I think it needs to happen.
I think, right actor for the right job, we kind of go, but in the book he's described as being olive brown skinned, proper
Right.
Dornish looking. But actor availability, you don't want your audiences asking questions that aren't important. Hey, hang on
I've
a
seen
minute.
enough questions about why isn't he blonde already. We didn't need to add another layer.
Particularly when you've got Maekar, even though the actor's 1 year, basically of the same age as Bertie, but he's
Yeah.
meant to be 5 to 6 years younger than him. But it doesn't really matter.
Again, it works really well for me because I think you need the definite age distinction.
And I do think Bertie brought so much more to him. I think everyone brought Maekar, everything. Everyone has been improved.
Yeah, he didn't say much in episode 5, Baelor, but it's still,
Stuck with you.
yeah, he's still the standout of that. What Dunk did, sure, but actually Baelor's words and his actual performance in that episode is incredible.
He stood out more in this than he did in the book for me.
Necessary considering he's kind of the giant linchpin that holds the whole thing together.
Yeah.
And realistically, the downfall of everything.
And I like the touch that Valar has his little wisp of white.
Looks a little fake.
Well, but obviously, like he does. I think in the
Give him
book,
the Reed Richards.
it's more obviously fringed base.
I guess his life is now insane because it's probably not going to be as simple as he is the king now.
Dad was Hand of the King.
Yeah.
So his dad was also running even though Daeron is a good king, his dad was probably slowly taking
The
over more
day-to-day.
and more. The day-to-day,
Yeah.
exactly. It was the big... There you go.
The big picture guy.
Yeah. It's The Office. It's Michael Scott and Jim, yeah. Well, we get what people were missing last time, where we have the confirmation that he's made his house green. We get the line of...
Better to be an unripe green apple than a wormy red one.
And he even has the green apple for Sweetfoot.
Good little conversation. Again, it's just nice that he obviously got the shit beaten out of him, but he did it for something he believed in, and also he got a lot out of it. Like, this was very successful. Lionel also was pretty happy. He was like, that was a great tournament.
Yeah, because he got knighted.
Yep.
Got a wife. He managed to get pregnant one night. What a brilliant, absolute guy. Incredible. Obviously, that's a joke because she is pregnant.
That's the thing. She could be pregnant. She could just be saying, oh, you came, like, we did the thing. I'm pregnant now. So she could not be. Just, like, lock it down early. Yeah. Because otherwise, the whole
He'll
Fossaway
get
line...
me pregnant eventually.
Yeah. Otherwise, the whole Fossaway line may be not legitimate. I want Raymond to be the winner here.
Well, he is, because at least in the books, he does go off and starts off the new cider hill. New Barrel? I think it's called. I mean, the bee one has a great name. It's not called the Beehive, but the Beesburys have like a bee-based name. I forget what it's called. But yeah, I loved seeing that. The Beesbury in a bee funeral.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Oh, that's a show invention as well?
Yeah, that's a show invention.
Very
Maybe
nice.
it's mentioned that, like...
But it also makes, like, it works. Like, yeah, if you locked the queen in there, the bees would go crazy and just, like, swarm it.
So I thought that was just a great touch. And also, they're just there in the tent. It's like, just... It's great.
Then we go to Maekar.
Yes.
And again, incredible. Maekar does such a good performance in this scene.
Oh, yeah, the actor's great. If you told him 5 days ago that Lord Lionel Baratheon was like, come be my best friend, and then Prince Maekar's like, come to Summerhall, I'll get your training sorted out, and then you can also be the squire to my son.
Yeah, it shows how layered Maekar is, because obviously he's incredibly displeased with how things have happened. He's sad that his brother died. He's sad that he's going to get the blame for it. He's kind of angry at the gods. He wants his last son, his words, to actually like him and to turn out well.
Because that's the addition which he adds, is that, because he's got 6 children and his wife's died. And all of them are, because I've been seeing some wonderful fan art of this Maekar, because Maekar's not really been a character that the fandom would know about, but like him with like 6 kids trying to juggle them all. Because when you break it down,
Dad of the year,
I'm pretty sure like one of his daughters is like trying to put curses on the brothers. Like they've all got their weird little
It would be
quirks.
good to maybe see. I know we don't have time, and that's not what the story is, but it would lend a lot of credence to why Maekar is the way he is, like, and why his kids are the way they are.
Because he hasn't.
Yeah, sure, he's got everything going on, but he still would be trying to do what he can, and like you can tell family means a lot to him, because never in line for the throne, so obviously didn't like covet it. So he did actually become just like a good guy, pretty bitter.
Yeah, but he's just trying to look after, because he's got the Summerhall Palace, and he's just trying to look after his kids. So when it's
he's trying to hold it together.
Because Darren's a wash, Aerion we're just sending off away for a few years. Hopefully he can do well. Aemon is basically going to, he goes to become a maester. I don't think he's a maester technically yet, but maybe they've just done that. He's not been mentioned. So now Egg, in his eyes, is actually the last boy. The only one I've got any chance on being all right.
Yeah, it's also a little bit like, some fault of Maekar, but you lose the son you had once they like grow up and become a dick kind of deal. So
then Darren has that great line where he was once a nice lad, Aerion. He liked fishing.
So it's like he's lost all his other sons, like one to anger, one to alcohol, one to the maesters. Yeah. This is his last son. And I was like, that's a great line. And you said, that was a show invention.
Pretty sure it was.
I'm like, that's such a good line.
And then the addition of Egg sees his hair growing back and he doesn't want to look like his brother.
Peach fuzz.
Hates his brother, remember? So takes the knife and but Maekar being there, and they have that moment of like unsaid and just that. Because he hasn't actually interacted with his dad in the whole series. So it's nice to have that moment that isn't in the book of them, like, because obviously we don't break from Duncan's perspective ever. So to have that was great. Like, I really liked it. That Maekar
the understanding there as well.
I know, he's
and
horrible.
Like, even if you don't like your brother now, you might eventually. You don't want your dead brother, because I have a dead brother and that sucks.
Because, with the blame thing, it's like, where does Aerion would surely feel blame? Because I had to go be a prick and snap a girl's finger that we then ricocheted.
Yes.
Egg probably feels bad because he could have ran to Prince Baelor instead of Dunk.
It is unfortunate we're not going to get any more of Aerion character-wise, because, does he regret what happened? Is he like, this wasn't worth a couple of teeth at the back of my mouth kind of deal?
Yeah.
Was this worth getting kicked in the mouth? Everything's fucked now.
Yeah.
Like, it would be interesting to see what's going on there. But again, that's not the story we're telling. How harshly can you judge something off
And
that?
that Dunk is just kind of, I'm tired of princes, I'm tired of this. He's obviously just going through what we expect, just the complete lull. And what is it that brings him out of it?
It's this.
Oh, of course. They'd have the nice, I'm pretty sure in the book, in the second story, Sweetfoot passes on. So they give it a nice ending here with Raymond, because this doesn't happen. And yeah, you're right. Is that Raymond? He's done a nice thing and brought Dunk his horse back. But Dunk's like, I won't need it.
It was Sir Arlen's horse.
Yeah.
So it's not really his horse, and then he did sell it to try to do something, even though he had the intention of buying it back. It's very much like, it doesn't deserve to be with me. Like, it can go be somewhere happy, and an orchard would be sick for a horse.
And I think Sweetfoot is if I remember, the oldest one. Like,
Fair.
She's been around the longest.
Yeah.
And then we have the additional stuff of the Pennytree.
Again, incredible little conversation from Sir Arlen, because he hasn't had much, if any, real screen time. This is the first time he's properly actually spoken to someone, as far as I can remember, because he was silent for the first few episodes. Then
like direct
he
conversation.
yells, does a murder, and then this one he's actually talking to a squire, not off screen saying, I'll clat you in the ear. So this is the first proper him we get that isn't drunk. Sure, he is dying, but it's a great little story about every time the lords call their banners and everyone has to go to fight in Pennytree, they all stick a penny to a tree or nail a penny to a tree, and when you come back, you get to take your penny back. But there's no room because lords suck and we all keep dying, and it really is just another, hammering home the Hedge Knight. Like, you're doing what you should, and it's not really glamorous.
And then you see that Dunk does that. Like, he's setting off on his adventure. There's this sense of maybe he will come back one day. Maybe he will,
Yeah, it's a very hopeful episode considering where we've come from. Well, he makes the goofy mistake of not checking with Maester.
Because he has that conversation with Maester and says, look, the best thing you can do for him, because you keep bashing your head against the wall going, why do my kids keep fucking up, is maybe it's because of the environment they're growing up in.
Yeah, even though you're trying your best, maybe it's just a bad environment.
Yeah, it's that Aerion literally thinks the world's for him, and he doesn't see why it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And Darren's drinking himself to death.
And Aemon was the only one that escaped it, but you don't know what he's like.
Exactly. And so in the book, when I'm reading it, I assume that that's what it is. My Lord Father says, I need to serve you. But then in the show, because of that added line of, he's my last boy, so then when you get that, I was like, oh yeah, he's definitely just lying, because he would have heard Dunk, and he's definitely just lied again, because of course he has.
I think it could have gone either way up until the stinger at the end, where he's like, where's my boy? Which I think maybe I didn't want that.
Vaguely comedic, but then also it's in the book, it's true. Like, we don't get a confirm. You're right, Sir Duncan.
Yeah.
Egg, you're going to go be with the Hedge Knight. So, I won't be surprised if George is like, oh no, in like novella 6, Maester rocks up going, what the fuck?
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, you have to go with two options now. It's either they're being hunted down, like off screen, for every future season, or it's Maester is like, oh, I figured out what happened to him. Fine, but I'll go get him in a year. He has 1 year before I interrupt.
Because the thing is, for show watchers, you're seeding things that shouldn't be, but then who knows what they expand on? Because the next one it's not an attorney; it's a different situation,
and it'll be just as simple. It'll be introducing all new characters.
It's new characters.
So if we do the same time frame, we will save a fair bit of time not having to restart Duncan Egg.
Yeah,
but you will have to continue that, and you'll have to grow that.
Well, yeah, because it's like the classic old TV shows where you've got your main characters journeying into a new town and getting up to new adventures in that town with those folk.
Which is always the temptation of showrunners to fuck things up from there, where they're like, oh, I've already got these characters, I better expand new, more different characters. Percy Jackson Season 2 was really bad at that because they had set up the main trio. They spent most of the time dealing with Clarice, like just another side character. And you can almost tell that the showrunners liked her more than the main characters. So I hope we don't run into that. We probably won't. I have complete faith in this, Ira Parker and George, from what they've done. And I hope they get Sarah back. Loved her direction the most. That's been the standout for me.
Well, they're filming now, so we can hope.
That's another thing. We get this in 2027. It's been confirmed.
It's never occurred to me as a super fan that, yes, technically it's not 7 kingdoms, it's 9 kingdoms.
Right, yep.
Because the Crown Lands, when Aegon landed, that disputed land became a kingdom. The Iron Islands are now a kingdom when they kind of weren't, because they were connected to the Riverlands. So those 2 additions.
So is it basically, when Aegon landed, It was Seven Kingdoms, and that was just what they called it. So like, it's hard to change what people call something.
Exactly, and he landed in the disputed lands, so then that became the Crown Lands. So now there are lords to the Crown Lands.
Yeah, and also I assume counting to 7 isn't super easy for these people.
Yeah, but it's weird because as they have with Duncan, it's like, oh yeah, there isn't actually. But then you get well. Even though I went, oh, that's nice. Essentially, Fast and Furious goodbye, Paul Walker. Like, been a long time.
All I can think of now though is the Tokyo Drift like AI clips that people are doing. How he comes out and it's like Han sitting on like Lightning McQueen. Yeah. So that's all that that's where my brain went. But yeah. But it was very sweet. It was a sweet little moment
to see him off because he's on Sweetfoot and he looks.
Another great reason to get rid of Sweetfoot is for that moment. Like, that way you bring him back to remind you that, hey, this was Pennytree's horse. Send him off.
I think what George is intending to do is that these stories will get grander over time as certain people move into certain new higher positions.
Risky.
We will get expanded and expanded because there is stuff that we know happened to Aerion and Aegon during an upcoming war with also Lionel Baratheon. So you're seeing that stuff now in season 1 for, I don't know. I doubt they're going to want to do... Well, maybe they will do 12 seasons if all of them are going to be 6 episodes of 30 minutes.
As long as they keep it small scale story-wise, I'm okay with massive repercussions. I think this one did it really well, where it starts out small, but by the end you're like, oh, like this has changed the world. I think that's a really good way of doing it. The problem is
that the creator of this, he hasn't touched it in over 10 years.
Yes, always a risk.
And it's 2010, the last novella came out. Like, so it's been ages. And even though Ira and him, they've all said, oh yeah, we've got the plans, and so far like the additional dialogue is pretty good. Like it's not, no, it blends in perfectly, but I think we're just going to enjoy 2 and 3 because they're done, and then we'll see where we are by that point.
Yeah, well, that should be the thing. We should be doing yearly episodes, which I think will help massively. Like, I love binging things. I am a fan of the weekly because it keeps it in the zeitgeist. Like, I like waking up to Sir Arlen telling me to wake up and give me a white monster, like great memes.
It's meant more to people than House of the Dragon has.
Well, it's hit half as many people. So average viewership for this show, about 13 million. House of the Dragon season 2 apparently hit 25-ish. It cost a third of the budget, but it hit half as many people. So technically, that's a win.
Still good because, yeah.
Yeah, still a win, but it is interesting seeing how much having dragons in it and having the extra marketing behind it. Because this show didn't really get much marketing, whereas House of the Dragon was fucking everywhere.
And it was just a lot of confusion. Wait, what is this? Is this the new House of the Dragon? Is this after Game of Thrones, before Game of Thrones? And there was no text on it because House of the Dragon was like 182 years before Daenerys Targaryen.
Yes, which I think TikTok has really fixed for a lot of people because you've had like, Alt Shift X, but also just like small TikTok creators that do either lore dumps or they do the, hey, here's every time Dunk and Egg were mentioned in the main series, and people are like, oh, like that connection really helped. Obviously, that wasn't their plan. That was just the audience doing its audience thing, which really sustained this. But yeah, overall, just really, really good, simple story well told.
Some of the best costuming in Game of Thrones ever. Like, Maester's fit in this was incredible.
Yep.
Even like the cloak Lionel's wearing looked great. The Maester looked awesome. Everything looked great visually here. And you understand why, because I saw videos of like, look how incredible, because there's a nice moment where the birthday girl has a nice moment when she said, you're big and stupid. She has actually, you're pretty cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed that little moment.
And people were saying how her outfit, some auxiliary, she's not that important,
I saw that,
is better than Rhaenyra's outfit. But then also they're different shows with different they've got to build sets over there.
Well, it's also not even budgetary, it's just different ideas about things.
They're in the production going, okay, there's 6 episodes, 30 minutes. How long is she realistically in that outfit for? How many scenes? Not many, sir. Easy. Rhaenyra, who's in every single fucking episode, we have to have her in a practical outfit. We can't put the poor actress
even for the fact that this show was shot in a field for 99% of it, whereas House of the Dragon season 2, there's the scene where they drag the dragon's head through the middle of town. They had to shut down fucking Spain. They had to shut down an entire city block to film that. And then they're like, thanks everyone, whereas here, it's some guy's backyard.
So sets here were interior of the castle.
Yeah.
I imagine the tents were just genuine tents in a field.
It's probably 2 walls for the castle too. It's that corridor they walk down, which is quite tight, and then it's either Baelor room or Maekar room.
So they made sure what you saw was looking prim. So like, we don't have any CG. We best make sure the fight's awesome.
The fight's
and
a
the
big
outfits.
point of the make sure of what they see, because like they
Yeah.
probably like a CGI depth map to put like smoke up, but like you can't see past the third person kind of deal
And
because
the
there's
darkness
smoke.
when the tourney begins, because we see it only in darkness.
Yeah, the main tourney's at nighttime.
Because then you can trick with the crowd stuff.
Yeah, so it's like they were definitely smart about it, which is
choice.
good.
And then even though with the flashback, maybe some contention, it's used in part because we don't have the budget to do an all-out drag out. So let's build a small. That was probably it. Build a small flea bottom.
Yeah, well, that was again, two walls and a little courtyard.
Makes it work. You make it tight and dirty.
Yeah.
So I think it's really good show making. It feel like proper old school show running. Like,
well, that's what I mean by simple story, well told. Like they didn't really fuck around for any of it, and we can't really compare it to House of the Dragon. This show has spawned like a ton of anger towards House of the Dragon, and it was a weird time for them to put that trailer out a couple of days
it's so
before.
weird they didn't do it as you said now.
Yeah, do it right now.
But
People would
like
be
as a stinger at the end.
on a
Hey,
high. Yeah.
come back to Westeros in June.
Yeah. Realistically, this show was completely written. This original story, completely written, including dialogue, had 2 characters, whereas House of the Dragon, multiple years, dozens of characters, a bunch of interweaving plot. They're very different shows, but it is interesting.
And showrunners thinking they know better.
Oh.
Do you want to touch on the trailer? Or is that a whole other thing?
I don't remember any of the trailer.
That's it. I don't remember any of the trailer other than how bad Aemon's wig looked on the throne.
I saw people talking about that, but it was so quick I didn't even register it, honestly.
Them seemingly walking back Alicent's visit to the...
Yes, she immediately walks out and Aemon is like, what the hell, man?
But there was some interview with Ryan, because he's recently, I don't know, but he's like... Season 3, we're going to see, because now Rhaenyra's going to get challenged on all that prophecy stuff she's been believing.
She now thinks she's the prince that was promised, so she's going to become angry.
But they were going, mate, you made that seem real fucking clear in season 2 because you were not challenging it. You gave her the Power Ranger hero shot with the dragons. You've made it very clear in season 2 that she's the goodie that we all need to be believing in. So you're going to have a turnaround and people go, hey, you're not so fucking special. Like even Daemon sees a vision of her.
And that's what makes him change his
tune.
tune.
He even says you're the mother of dragons. No, she fucking isn't.
And then
Daenerys literally is the mother of it.
It's contradicting
that annoyed
the other
me.
bigger show.
I was like, no, she fucking isn't. Like,
I do have to watch season 2 because I remember way less of season 2 than I think I thought I did. Like watching the trailer for season 3, I was like, where are we?
That's our problem. There's not much in season 2.
And I wonder whether that's my fault for forgetting or whether it's the show's fault that they are doing such an about face that the trailer doesn't really join to season 2. But hey, make sure you get subscribed because we'll be doing House of the Dragon in a matter of months at this point.
You're probably
going to
do a season. We're going to do a revisit?
Yeah, we'll do a recap because at the moment our recap is every episode reviewed and that was like 6 hours and we don't want to put you through that. Although it is funny watching Stephen get sadder and sadder every episode.
Thanks again for everyone. Did you think this was better than the book? Do you think this is the best single season of Game of Thrones since the early days of Game of Thrones?
Bare minimum, it's got to be since like season 4.
Yeah. I think House of Dragon season 1 has some defenders. Like, I think up until Viserys dies, that's what annoys me is that the greatest moment in House of the Dragon is Viserys walking in when he's half dead. It's not the fucking dragon stuff.
Yeah.
It's that character beat. And the greatest moment in this is Baelor coming out going, I will take Sir Duncan's side. It's almost like characters are what matter and not CG dragons.
They might learn. They probably won't, but we'll see.
Okay, thanks everyone.
Bye.